Hello, Renee. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
So, Renee, tell us a little about yourself and why you started a business.
Well, when I was in high school, I'm 38 now, but when I was in high school, my art teacher was cleaning out one of the closets, and she pulled out a roll of copper foil, which you use to line the pieces of stained glass and then solder them all together. And she says, "Do you have any idea what this is?" And I said, "No, I have no idea." And she said, "Well, do you want it?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So I did some searching around the internet, and I've always been fascinated by light and colors. That's kind of been my thing.
Mhm.
And so I looked it up, and I found it, and I said, "Oh, that's how you connect the stained glass pieces." I said, "All right, now I know how to do stained glass," but I didn't. I just knew the basics, obviously. It
Yeah,
takes a
yeah.
while to learn. So I looked up stained glass storefronts like in my area that sell glass and supplies, and there happened to be one 10 minutes from me. So I said, "Well, this is perfect." I went in there, I bought a cutter, I bought some glass, and I already knew how to solder, but I was using a very small iron for electronics and stuff, so I wasn't using the correct iron.
Mm.
And I got started from there. I was kind of self-taught. Um, and then I went to my first teacher, Lynn Martin in North Kingston, and she has since moved to Florida.
Mm.
But I went to her, I learned a lot, took some classes, and then I kind of ventured out on my own. And I've been doing it as a hobby for a while. And then I ended up going back to the original stained glass studio that was 10 minutes from my house.
Mm.
And I started picking out glass, and the owner and her friend said, "Wow, you have really, really good taste in glass." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And I just saw them in the store, and I said, "Wow, I would really like to work here and learn about glass, and I could be some kind of apprentice." And that's kind of what happened. I kept going in there and talking with them, and I befriended them. And
Yeah.
the owner's the owner's friend Jan had taught me a lot. Um, very intricate, very intricate details of stained glass, and she was the first person to say to me, "I think you might have Asperger's." And I said, "Oh, that's I never knew that." Um, so she said, "I've taught children with Asperger's," and she's like, "I know, like I can read you." And I said, "All right," and I was very open to it because all my life I've been kind of
Yeah,
searching
yeah.
for, you know, um, what was different and why I was different.
Right.
And so that was kind of a comfort. And she knew exactly how to teach me, and how, like, it was a great match. But Amy, the owner, ended up packing up her store
Mm.
and leaving for Martha's Vineyard. So and Jan went her own way. But I ended up getting a lot of supplies from Amy because I helped her close the store. So now I had all these supplies, I had all this under my belt, and I was ready to start a business, or so I thought. But I didn't really know anything about starting an actual business. So that kind of lasted a little bit, and then it ended, but I still was doing stained glass, just, on the side. I worked for 15 years on and off at my quote real job
Mm.
as a in jewelry. I've done wax casting, um, carving, wax. I did resin pouring
Yeah.
for a few years, and that was really interesting. I got to learn how to color the resin and pour beads and polish them, and I had a lot of fun and made some great stuff.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and Then I ended up quitting that job, and I said, "You know what? I think I want to go back to my glass full time. I think I'm ready to start a business." That was in 2018.
That's right.
And I learned a lot about how to start a business and how to maintain one, and it's been going well ever since. I joined, the social media like Facebook and Instagram, and I started promoting myself. I started getting really good feedback, and I said, wow, people really like my stuff. I joined a artist co-op in Bristol where my stuff is on display 24/7.
Oh wow.
And I've got a lot of fans from that, people that really like my stuff, and they buy my artwork, and they support me, and it's been great. And now really good things are happening, and I'm looking to grow as a business, and yeah, that's pretty good. Oh.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice story. It's a cool story too. And I like this part where your friend who was helping you at the studio teach you about stained glass and all that. Say, understand like why you were so different. You had Asperger's. I too have Asperger's autism. I was diagnosed as a young age, but I know a lot. I'm seeing a lot more of older people getting diagnosed because now people know about it, and we know the signs and what to look for, and it's just very cool to see that community grow and be very diverse too. So that's very nice to hear. So you said you worked at a jewelry place, and did the jewelry place also kind of help with your stained glass business too?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Not directly, but the knowledge that I had from stained glass, from jewelry, working with metals, different gemstones, I have been able to incorporate that in my work. I love learning. That's my first, I'm going to learn about gemstones. Okay, I'm going to learn everything I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to learn about how to polish metals, different kinds of metals, how they solder, how it goes together. Like I love learning about things that I'm interested in.
Yeah, and then you can apply that to the glass business too, right?
Exactly.
Can you put like metals or gems, whatever, in the glass too, or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I use agates mostly because
cool.
they're like flat sliced, but you can also use anything really. The possibilities opened up like a whole lot, and you can use chains and like to hang down, or all kinds of different stuff. I ended up making even more original pieces than I was making because some people use patterns, and that's okay. But I like to use 100% original designs that I draw up. I can fit, whatever I want in it.
The glass, where do you typically find the glass? Like, do you do you buy them? Is it all recycled material, or is it a mixture?
Sometimes, I have some recycled glass. I love to find older, more vintage glass because what happened between 2010 and now is that some of the biggest glass manufacturers in Rhode Island, not in Rhode Island, in the United States. Let me just break away from that for a minute. But stained glass is made through a process where most stained glass is made and they color it with different kinds of metals. And when you do that, it creates a lot of bad emissions.
Toxins,
so a lot of them were closed down. Some of them, I believe, moved to Mexico. And then some other existing glass manufacturers took on recipes from the ones that closed down, and they're just starting to make it again. So that's really nice. But it, like everything else today, glass and metals have shot up exponentially. And but so there's not too much around Rhode Island. There's a couple shops I know of. I'll mention the Stained Glass Emporium in Rehoboth carries sheets of glass. Holidays in Chepachet, and there's one I think it's Bosegraph Studio. I think it's in Narragansett.
Mm.
But what I usually do is I'll go out for, we call it a glass haul, and I'll go out like once or twice a year. I'll go up to, it's almost New Hampshire. It's called Toy Town Stained Glass, and I will get most of my glass that I need from there. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been around, so I see like, oh, I'll take that sheet, or I call myself a glass collector sometimes just because the glass is so beautiful. They're like, what are you making with it? I'm like, I don't know. I just need this piece of glass. So, and I'll figure it out later.
So you buy them in sheets? Like, have you like
Yes.
buy them like glass bottles or anything that, and then break them up, or are they always in sheets?
The majority of what I get are in sheets, and then I do incorporate sea glass sometimes. And like one time somebody brought me a broken piece of glass that says, oh, this comes from, something that was special to them. Can you please incorporate it into a piece? I'm like, sure, of course. I like doing commissions like that.
Yeah.
I've also done residential commissions. I had a customer who had side lights on either side of their door that were all stained glass, and somebody tried to rob the house, so they punched a hole in it so they could reach around and unlock the door. And he said, well, he said, well, because it was stained glass, the lead, they couldn't break through it, but they broke the window. So I was like, well, all right, and the hardest part about that is finding the correct glass to match the other window.
Yeah.
Once I did that, I was golden. I said, all right, now we're good. We can certainly do that. So I restored that window, and it looked like nothing ever happened. It was great.
Wow. How long does it take you to make a piece of art, like the window or others? How long does it take you?
It depends on. There's a lot of things that go into it, but usually it depends on the severity of the cuts. Like, are they simple? Are they really have a lot of curves in them? Because once you cut the glass, you also have to grind it on a glass grinder, and then you line every single edge with copper foil. And then you fold that over and you burnish it, and you put all the pieces together like a puzzle, and then you solder it. And then you can turn the solder colors by either black patina or copper patina. There's more colors out there, but I generally keep it silver, black, or copper. And then you wax it to a shine. So, I mean, probably from the time I pick up the pencil to design it and the finished product, if you say like a 1 foot by 1 foot panel would probably take me 3 to 4 weeks. About.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's not a very fast thing. But I make a lot of sun catchers. I make a lot of different things for a lot of different price points, so I can cater to everybody, because I know from my experience that I love certain people's art, but I do not have the money to, so I want to make it affordable for everybody.
So you said was it 2018 you decided to start a business, and you found this self-employment business classes, and you took it. What did you like about it? What did you learn?
I loved that everybody was so supportive. And I figured I wasn't sure exactly what they were going to teach, but I was willing to listen, and see what was happening with that. I like that. I love Sue, and Claudia was my mentor, and she's she was extremely helpful with some weird questions I had. And just like seeing everybody kind of saying like, I'm going to do this, and watching everybody grow as well through the 8 weeks. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That. What do you like most about being a business owner? Well, having your own business, working for yourself?
So one of the things was that when I was working for different people, I noticed that my heart wasn't 100% into it, and I would really wear myself down trying to please, please everybody and see what they needed, and that really took a toll on my mental health and stuff like that. So I like being more independent. I do struggle with Lyme disease at times. It can flare up and whatnot. So it's like every day I don't really know how I'm going to feel. So I like having the guilt-free kind of like, well, I can't work on that today, but I'll work on it tomorrow, rather than like calling somebody and say, I'm sorry, I can't come in today. And like the guilt from that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice being able to make your own schedule. Work for someone else, you have a set time to be there. But when you're on your own business, like for me, I can walk if I want to walk out late at night. I can, and that's probably similar to you. Do you do all your work at your house, or do you have a studio to go to?
I do. I actually have all my work. I call it the glass room, but it's actually my bedroom, and I sleep in the main part of my apartment. So I've made some sacrifices for glass. I did one class at the gallery or the artist co-op Hotpoint, and I'm hoping to do more, but I'd like to start off doing specialized classes for people that already do stained glass. Like if they need a soldering class, or they need a pattern class, or they need help with a specific thing. My main goal would be someday down the road to get a legit studio and set up and give classes weekly where people can just come and work on their glass. That would be pretty cool. And if I could also supply glass and tools, possibly. But that's kind of far away.
Yeah. I know I have planned to own my own studio for podcasts and helping people with podcasts too. Similar. It'd be nice to have our own place. I do everything from my house too.
Yeah, I hear that.
It has its benefits too. Also have its cons too, but
yeah,
I
nice. Like that if I'm not feeling 100%, I can just walk into the next room in my pajamas. Yeah. Like I don't have to get dressed and travel somewhere, because for me that takes energy as well. So it's like, oh, okay, so it's a lot easier. It's actually a blessing to have it over here, but yeah.
So you say your stuff in Bristol, you said, right? Are there any other places people can buy your stuff or look at your products or you make stained glass?
Well, I'm not in any other physical places right now, because during the summer, especially with Bristol, it's right near the parade path. It's 39 State Street. So it's right there, and we get a lot of tourists. We get people for the 4th of July parade all through the summer, and it's great business. And eventually I would like to branch out to a couple more places. I'm just worried about like the pressure of keeping them stocked right now. But if people would like to see my previous work, my Instagram has almost everything I've done on it, and that's just the @ Fulcrum Stained Glass, FULCRUM Stained Glass. And then I also am on Facebook at the same handle, and I have a website which is just www.fulcrumstainedglass.com, one word. And I don't generally keep that stocked. I do more like I advertise on Instagram and Facebook that I'm going to be doing a shop drop at certain times of the year. So when I have a bunch of pieces made, I'll announce it and then put them in the store. But there's not, I don't usually keep a lot of stock in there, just what's not sold.
And if someone wants a particular stained glass made, are you willing to do that too?
Yes, I do.
And they could contact you on your website and Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, they can anywhere that you see me, mostly Instagram, but I do take commissions. I just have a long waiting list of, well, I have like a couple month waiting list as of right now, but that's not all for commissions though, because I have other things I do, like
other engagements.
Yep. Yeah. So it's pretty much, there's a lot going on right now.
Sounds definitely busy, which is always good.
Yeah,
and
it's
fun
good.
Too.
It's good busy.
Yeah. So when you were telling me earlier before we started that you have a giveaway that you're doing. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
Oh, sure. I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot about it. So I make these Lotus mobiles, and they can hang from wherever you want them to. They're my most popular design. I've made almost 10 of them so far. So what I did for this giveaway is I had people vote on what colors they would like to see this design in, and they voted. And then I said, well, here's the glass sheets that I have of those colors. What glass sheets do you want to see? So they voted, and out of the 3 top colors they wanted, I made 3 Lotus mobiles, and the winner will be able to pick one of them, and then I'll put the other 2 for sale in the shop. And it comes with little like promotional stickers and of my artwork, and so it's a pretty good giveaway for that type of piece. And you can enter if you visit my business page on Facebook, which is just my handle, like I said before, Fulcrum Stained Glass, and the same thing goes for Instagram too.
And when does the giveaway end?
The giveaway ends on Thursday, June 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And is it open to everyone, or just like everyone in the United States, or the whole world, or?
It's open to anyone. Just ask that if you're not from Canada or the U.S., that you pay shipping. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's just, that can be costly.
Yeah. And I will announce the winner on the next night at 9 p.m. And I will also contact the winner to see which piece they would like to choose.
Awesome. That sounds like a cool giveaway. Thanks. I'll be sure to check it out. And everyone else, be sure to check it out on Instagram and Facebook at Fulcrum Stained Glass. So Renee, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
That's about it for today. I think I'm very thankful for fans of my work, for supporters. Even if you just put a like on one of my that means the world to me. And I really appreciate my followers and fans of my artwork. And it has been a rough journey getting here, but I'm here, and I couldn't do that without everyone else, helping me out and supporting me. So I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for joining me today, and it's been a pleasure meeting you, and good luck with the giveaway and making this stained glass and growing your business. Hopefully one day I'll stop by once you have your studio up and running, eventually, let's hope.
Yeah.
That'll be a cool thing to see. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.